Looking at something a little different tonight. This Brother Charger 11 portable typewriter that definitely needs some love. This cover pops off, but one of these little rubber grommets is just dissolved. I might need to get a nice new pair. I'm sure this one's going to dissolve. This ribbon is obviously dried up. It's definitely probably about as old as me. I've got some fresh ribbon, but I'm not going to use that until I get things working nicely. Now, most of it works nicely. Spacebar is good. Shift. You can even do caps lock here. Everything around where you would thread the ribbon seems fine here. Like our margin warnings, our bell. When we're getting near the end of the page, carriage seems to slide. Maybe could use a bit of grease. Something that doesn't need grease. The combs here, and that can make them sticky if someone has used them. Plus, this has just been out in the open, getting dusty for literally a decade or more. So, several keys work real well. Some here at the edge get stuck. Basically, all this needs is a really intense cleaning. I'm going to use an air duster. I'm going to take the bottom off of this first to give the dirt somewhere to go that's not in the typewriter. Slot head screwdriver. This foot has also disintegrated. These other three, that one's mostly gone and that one's on the way out. Probably get something similar but newer. Get to the screws and segregate them. Gotta keep these washers too. This one fell to bits while I was getting it out. There's part of the bottom that's attached on the back too. Here's the serial number I should look up. That's everything down below. Just needs a crazy amount of cleaning. This is disgusting too. So when it comes to cleaning the insides, I'm going to end up using some mineral spirits, but not on the outside because that might ruin the paint. I'm going to go with isopropyl rubbing alcohol. So the gnarliest stuff I can't get off because this is already corrosion. Best I can do is try and make sure it doesn't get worse. Careful cleaning the body of this because I don't want to get a bunch of alcohol into these workings. So that's where the mineral spirits go. This yellowed plastic, it'll come off for now. It's also really goopy there. Now, to clean in here, the most important part, I'm going to carefully measure off camera. Thankfully, I'm filming right next to an open window because holy cow, don't breathe this. I'm going to carefully drip it in the most problematic holes, especially E. It's very sticky. Immediately that works. You're supposed to blow out some of the excess. Continue doing a bit of that across the whole fan now. I noticed about halfway through there that I needed something to catch some of the dripping solvents so it doesn't melt through my bench. Also got some new scrubbing brushes. Actually use some stiffer bristles, not just spray this loosely in there. And I've done some scrubbing. These letters are real nice and clear and clean too. I think there's still a couple trouble keys. This one, quarter half, that seems like a really unimportant number to begin with. 7 is toast. And the asterisk, colon, semicolon, is messed up too. On the back here, every little one of these teeth has a spring except right there. What key is this? This trigger. What's bouncing on this trigger? Right here. Which is K, which actually kind of works. But it might explain why it lays a little loose and lazy. Fortunately, most of the other letters are working a treat. All the letter keys work. Having 7 not function is kind of silly. Of course, it's not only the contact points here, moving parts on these levers as well. Lots of those side keys that didn't work consistently now are. This, a rare one, still a little tricky, and most frustrating, the 7, still a problem. The mineral spirits get on the wheel, and I don't want it to denature the rubber or anything. So beyond the debris and everything that can build up in this stuff and make some of these things a bit sticky, there's also something I forgot, in that when you hit a key, it's gotta fit in this really narrow slot, and if something's off, it'll grab. Before, the 7 was kind of like the worst one, which is odd because it's right in the middle, but just bent it slightly. I remember this half quarter one is, see if I wiggle it, it can push up against that wall, but it's bar tight against that one. Really gently. There we go. I sorted out that a few of these were because the key was getting stuck in the head. I think we've got like every key. Perfect. So with things here being much more clean and functional, I'm looking to fix this Grommet problem. I got some of these from the hardware store. I'm gonna try see in that slot. That goes right through. I was actually able to add a little washer to this guy, and now it's a much tighter hold on both ends. I think that looks great. And now to put things back together. All right, I think there are a couple things going on here with this not threading nicely. One is not quite doing it the right way. I think I have to wrap around a little differently. But another is, I think, called the ribbon vibrator. Oh my God. It was sticking a little, so I've kind of given that a good scrub. And I'm gonna give everything a good air dusting too, to blast out a lot of debris. Put a ribbon on each spool. Lock them in, put them through these spools, and then instead of this coming straight across, I think it kind of wraps back around itself. And behind here, back through on the way out. All right, that seems much more like it. Let's try it with the cover on and actually type on some paper. can go on black ink here. So I ended up looking up the serial number, B1202063. The B means it was made in February. That second number is first year that they were made for these. That was 1961. So that tells me this one was made in February 1961, most likely. Right here is the K where there's no spring at all. Right over here is the 1/4 and the 1/2. I'm going to try and borrow this spring to put over there. I'm going to have to be very careful about that. I fashioned a little hook out of a tiny copper wire. I use that to try and hook the end of the spring without losing it. Carefully fish it out the back. This is the size of the spring. 1.25 long when compressed. Outer diameter 0.2. Focus on getting it around this hook now. First from the back. Pliers. Pull out my hook tool. Get it around the lever. There we go. Being the absolute glutton for punishment I am, I even fixed a couple of these springs that were hooked on a little funny. Right away I can tell it fixed some of the tension problems. This one kind of sagged before in a way that it does not now, but how do they align? It did nothing, it's still way rough. Perhaps the problem is more about the key itself. It seems maybe tipped forward a little bit. It seems that the top of it is striking before the bottom, and I think that means that it's tipped forward. So I'm gently using a 10mm socket here, just lean it back a little bit. That's a huge improvement, but the bottom is still not striking very well. Been fighting and bending and twisting and being careful with this K swing arm all this time, and it's not perfect, but I think it's about as perfect as I'm going to get. I'm okay with that. So by borrowing, stealing, rearranging, and creating a new spring out of an old pen, I think I've gotten a good one for each of these. Even the most obscure keys are still working, like the half. Now I want to test, make sure every key works. I think we're pretty okay. And now that everything's done, it'll live on my shelf for the next several years to collect dust, so I can do this all over again in a few more years.